Okay, in this segment I want to talk about the process of learning. There's two kinds of learning that I want to talk about today. One is theoretical, and that's what we're doing today. We're studying. We're theoretically learning, like, what is social behavior about? Like, how does it work? Why does it work? What can I do to change the results I get from my social interactions? And the first step is to study, right? To study. And watching these videos is studying. Doing exercises. Doing the exercises is practice, actually. Okay, so watching these videos is studying. You're learning about facial expressions. You're learning about different purposes for social interaction. The second step is to practice. So to do the exercises, to think about it, to think about, like, what would I say to somebody in this situation? I did a lot of that. I did huge amounts of that. Like, just thinking, like, if that happens, what will I say to them? Actually, a lot of my practice is when I was fighting with my mom, I'm mad at her, and I'd be like, what am I going to say to her? And then she's going to say this. No, I can't say that. And then she's going to do this, or whatever. A lot of, like, in my mind, playing out of scenarios to figure out what I'm going to say. The third thing is to test. To then figure out what you're going to say and think, okay, I'm going to say this, and I think this is what is going to happen. To create a hypothesis. So this is like this is a social science, right? And social behavior is not a very accurate science, but it certainly is a science, and you certainly can create a hypothesis and test it. The next step is to create a hypothesis and go out and actually test it. To find somebody you want to be friends with and be like, hey, do you want to be friends? Or whatever. To go to your mom and be like, I didn't like what you did yesterday. And then to see if they react in the way that you think that they're going to react. And it's important to actually say, I'm going to do this, and I think they're going to do this. Because that's how you learn and grow. And then the fourth process is integrate. Your social awareness, you're like, okay, this is my hypothesis. I studied using my body and my face to express myself. I practiced in the mirror, showing myself how I was going to express myself. I went to my mom and said, I'm really upset. You said, hey, I'm really upset. And I practiced nonviolent expression. And then integrate. Did it work? Did I get the results I wanted? Was I clear in communicating what I wanted to communicate? Like, all these things are the integration. Now, I didn't learn that way. Now, I'm trying to teach you in a theoretical way what I learned in an intuitive way. So an intuitive process is interact. So you interact with somebody. You process any feedback you get. And this is what makes why social learning is so difficult for people who don't already have it in school. It's because oftentimes the feedback is so unclear. Somebody tells you you're stupid, and oftentimes it doesn't necessarily have to do with anything you did right then. They might just not like you, so they've gotten used to calling you stupid. Maybe you get bullied, and it's probably not because you did something that made those people angry. It's just you've shown your submissive nature, you've shown them that you're not going to do anything about it. The authorities have also shown them that they're not going to do anything about it. And then at some point, they have problems in their own life and they take it out on you, and there's just no feedback. So that's why intuitive learning is so challenging for social learners. So interact, process feedback, reflect. So first you interact, then you process feedback. And by feedback, I mean, did you get what you wanted? Did they, seem to be enjoying your company? Did they, if you're, let's say you're trying to make friends, let's say you're, okay, I'm going to invite every person I meet that I want to make friends with, I'm going to invite them to come over and play Super Smash Brothers, because that's what I like doing. So you interact, you're like, hey, wow, you seem cool. Do you want to come over to my house and play Super Smash Brothers? I really like playing it. And then process feedback. What was their facial expression? What was their body posture? What did they say? Did they agree? Did they say, well, maybe another time? Okay, well, do you think that they were, genuinely saying, oh, I can't play Smash Brothers right now, but I would like to? Or do you think they were saying, well, I don't really want to do that, but I feel like it would be impolite to tell you that, so I'm going to, to delay and never want to do that. And then, so you really have to reflect. You have to look back and say, what did I do? What happened? What did it mean? And then you grow. You're like, okay, all right, well, next time, I'm going to do it again, because that person wasn't the right person. Or next time, I'm going to wait until we've talked a little more. And I'm going to say, okay, well, you seem really cool. Now that we've talked for a while, do you want to come over and play Super Smash Brothers? Or whatever.